Okay, so we're gonna begin, please, with this lesson, and we're gonna do this exercise. Okay, so let's please elaborate this answer. I'm gonna give you uh 2 minutes to read, and then we're gonna go to the listening section, and then we're gonna respond to this question. Okay, so you have 2 minutes to reread and elaborate on this answer. Okay, so we're gonna listen, please.
Discussing the letter.
I totally disagree with Tim's proposal.
Why?
Well, look, Tim's my friend, but he's not your typical student. He stays up late partying every night, weeknights too.
If he parties every night, no wonder he can't pay attention.
Yes, and most students aren't like that. They come to class prepared and rested, and they can concentrate.
So you're saying the problem is really Tim?
Yes, he was in one of my classes last year, and whenever I looked at him, he was actually sleeping.
I guess if he's sleeping, he can't really know what's happening, what other people in class are doing.
Right. And you want to know what does happen in that last hour of seminar? In a lot of seminars that I've been in, that's when things get interesting.
Really?
Yes, that's usually when students get really involved in the discussion and start exchanging important ideas. And if the history department actually did what Tim suggests, well, if they did that, what would happen is you'd lose what might be the most worthwhile part of a seminar.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to respond, please, to prepare your response. Okay, so we're gonna please begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Teams proposed to reduce the length of history seminars from 3 hours to 2 hours, since two reasons. The first one is that the students stop concentrating, and the second one is that 3 hours is like a waste of time because the last hour is like no attention for everyone. A person disagrees this idea as she sees that this student sleeps in the classes because he stays in party the nights before the class. Secondly, the seminars for her are interesting in the last hour since students participate and debate about the theme they explain in that 2 hours. So she's not agree with changing with reducing the time length.
Okay. So we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do it for with the script. Okay, so it says we're gonna do the first reason here. Students cannot concentrate for 3 hours straight. On top of that, seminars, these the last when seminars last 3 hours, people stop learning in the last hour. Accordingly, the student Tim Lawson proposed to that history seminars be shortened to 2 hours, from 3 to 2 hours. The student does not advocate with this idea for the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks that Tim is a special case due to the fact that he always stays late because he parties every night. Therefore, he cannot pay attention. However, most students who are rested can easily concentrate. One of the classes Tim took with the student, he was seen sleeping all the time. In fact, in one of the classes, he was seen sleeping all the time. Okay. In addition, she believes the last hour is when things get interesting, or students get really involved in the discussion. They suggest ideas, so it's the most worthwhile part of the seminar. Okay, so that would be like the answer. Okay, so I'm gonna respond and please watch the clock. Okay. Students cannot concentrate for 3 hours straight. On top of that, when seminars last 3 hours, people stop learning in the last hour, so it is a waste of time. Accordingly, the student team Lawson proposed that history seminars be shortened from 3 to 2 hours. The student does not advocate with that idea for the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks that him is a special case due to the fact that he always stays late because he parties every night. Therefore, he cannot pay attention. However, most students who are rested can easily concentrate. In fact, in one of the classes uh, she took with him, he was seen sleeping all the time. In addition, she believes that the last hours is when things get interesting for students, get really involved in the discussion. They start suggesting ideas, and therefore is the most worthwhile part of the seminar. Okay, so uh, even if I wasn't in 30, I wasn't in 40 here, I was in 38, and here I don't think it was in 20, I was in 18. But anyways, it's like 1 second or 2 second margin. Okay, so you could be like in 42, 38, wouldn't be a problem. It's not perfect, but wouldn't be a problem. And also here. But what it would be a mistake is like if you take too much time here and you're starting here like at 35, that means that you took 25 seconds. That would be wrong. Okay. I don't know if you have any questions here.
Teacher, the main change is like in the second paragraph.
Here is the main
Here's the
change.
main change.
Yeah, it's not at the beginning.
No, it's not
No,
at the
it's not at
beginning.
the beginning.
It's
Okay.
here. Like we have two reasons. First reason, second reason, and accordingly the main change. Okay, so the change happened because of two reasons. First reason and second reason. In this TOEFL exercise, it's very clear that these two reasons are the reasons why this changed, right? So here comes the change. Accordingly, the change. So it's basically reason one on top of that. Reason two, accordingly, the change. The student does not advocate with the idea for the following reasons. Firstly, argument due to the fact that supporting ideas. In addition, second argument for supporting ideas. Okay, so that's the structure there. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to redo this answer, okay? So the same question, okay, with all the things that I taught you. So we're gonna redo this question, okay? So let's rewrite it, and then you're gonna answer, okay? You have 2 minutes to rewrite. Okay. So let's please begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
In the history seminars, students tend to lose concentration at the second hour. That's the reason why it's a waste of time the third hour. Accordingly, team student proposed to reduce the time of the seminar from 3 to 2 hours. Accordingly to a student that doesn't agree with this change because she has the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks this student is an special case since he has demonstrated no energy to concentrate because he stays late at night. In addition to that, she also believes that in a seminar, the last hour, the students pay more attention and discuss about the theme that is proposed in the seminar.
Okay. Okay, so basically, okay, so there you have it. But something that I want to correct you is that here you took a lot of time to say this. The student does not advocate with that idea. So you took like 10 seconds. So the first part was okay, was good actually. But then you took 10 seconds to make this point. And then you started like with 30 seconds remaining to argument. Okay, so that would be something that I would observe. And the second thing is that I would encourage you to use this due to the fact that in 4, it's the same as because as we've seen, but it's, I don't know, it can give you a structure, the when to say that and when to say the other option so that you don't repeat in the whole test. Okay, so we don't want repetition. That's why we have these words specifically placed, because in the other scripts we have other words. We don't repeat these connectors. Okay, with that being said, let's move on. We're gonna try to do another one here. Which one is field? Okay, let's do this.
Number 1.
Okay, so we're gonna wait till these chargers and then until we get there. We're gonna continue in Magush. In Magush, you know, it's not gonna be as clear, but anyway, we are gonna do it anyways. Okay, speaking question number 2. We're gonna have 6 tasks. Okay, so let's read here. We've already done this. Okay, so let's read this. We're gonna have 2 minutes to read. And then okay, we're gonna have 2 minutes to read. Okay, we're gonna listen, please.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the Buonocore Scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. It's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Is it really such a bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
Well, that doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance Languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
We're gonna listen once more.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the Buonocore Scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. It's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Is it really such a bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
Well, that doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance Languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to prepare your response.
Ahorita estoy saliendo de la...
Okay. So we're gonna begin, please. Let's please start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
An institution is offering scholarship for students that are only subscribed in the Romance language department. On top of that, the students selected will benefit from a tuition free for 2 semesters. Although there's a student who doesn't advocate the idea for the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks it's unfair because this is only offered for the school languages. She says it has a small group of students, so it will be easier to get this finance allowed. Fewer students complete and limited in single department. Other students are not will be not like benefit from this as students from history classes or Renaissance students because they are ineligible. Some people talent are losing
Okay,
this.
that's time. Okay, so actually, this tells you a whole lot about Magoosh. Something that I want to clarify. If you realize, like Magoosh, did you realize that Magoosh is like, uh, it's different, right? Magoosh from the TOEFL. Did you realize that? This in this case, it was much longer, right? I don't know
Yes,
if you
like the discussion at the end it's longer. So
yes.
it's not only it's not only two reasons. It's like a conversation between two people that are giving many reasons.
Okay, no, in essence, in this case, there are two reasons. Okay, the first reason is that she thinks it's unfair due to the fact that they are limiting it to one department. They are not counting on history, classic, or Renaissance studies. Uh, and she thinks it's abusive to keep that to only her department. But the problem with that is that it's very long in Magoosh. Okay, so I took notes here, and it's very long. So in Magoosh, you have that mistakes. In the real TOEFL, it's not gonna be long. It's gonna be shorter, like you've seen in the models. Okay, so you can see here that there's a big difference between Magoosh and the TOEFL made by ETS. And the second reason, because this reason is very long, the second reason is that she thinks it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship. Okay. So this one is much shorter. It's really short. Okay. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be like this would be the same amount of letters and time as the second reason. Okay. But you've seen the TOEFL, the real TOEFL. Okay, so that's something I want you to take into consideration. So in your test, expect the questions to be like the models we've seen from EPS, not from Magoosh. Okay, so try to accommodate these two reasons. The first reason being that she thinks it's unfair, even though she talks a lot, as you said, about that reason specifically. She says that many things, that there are only 700 students, that there are other departments that are not taking into consideration, that even though it's easier, she doesn't think it's fair, uh, because if even if it personally benefits her, she doesn't think it would be right. Okay, so it's long, but what I want you to take from this is that Magoosh, it's probably not the best content, but let's try to accommodate that in our test. Okay, so I'm gonna try to. Okay, I'm gonna answer this. I'm gonna show you how to answer this.
Now listen to two students discussing the
I'm gonna try to answer this. Okay. So the university is offering a new Okay, so the university is offering the Bonocore scholarship to study tuition free for 2 semesters in Rome. Okay, so that's like the that's what the university is offering. So the first reason would be okay, no, this is not like the change. The change would be, this is much harder. Okay, so the university is offering the Bonocore scholarship to study tuition free for 2 semesters in Rome. On top of that, students must submit an essay explaining how a year in Italy would provide the opportunity to research. Accordingly, the university according to the university, the scholarship is being limited to the it's been limited to only the Romans, to only the department. Okay, so that would be it. Like the university is offering the Bonocore scholarship to study tuition free for 2 semesters in Rome. On top of that, students must submit an essay explaining how you're in Italy would provide the opportunity to research. Accordingly, the scholarship is being limited only the Roman language department. Okay, so languages. Okay, so it's it's not very clear in Magouche again, but let's try to like fit all the things like this. The student does not agree with the idea because, firstly, she thinks it is totally unfair that the scholarship is being limited due to the fact that the Romance language department has only 700 students, and she thinks it's wrong to restrict students from history, classic, Renaissance studies from it's abusive to restrict students from the opportunity. even if it would benefit her personally. She thinks it is sad that the uh, competition is being monopolized. In addition, she believes it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship for uh, she would rather have she would rather know that she earned this she earned the the scholarship competing with the best, with the very best, than uh, instead of knowing that she won because other talented students were excluded from the process. She believes it takes something away from winning the scholarship, or she would rather know that she earned a scholarship competed with the very best instead of knowing that she won because other talented students were excluded from the process. Okay, so that's it. Okay, Renaissance opportunity. So let me show you how it should be done. Let's see the timing here. Okay. The university is offering the Bernocor Scholarship to study tuition free for 2 semesters in Rome. On top of that, students must submit an essay explaining how a year in Italy would provide them opportunity to do research. Accordingly, the scholarship is being limited to only the Roman languages department. The student does not advocate with that idea for the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks that it's totally unfair that the scholarship is being limited due to the fact that the Roman languages department has only 700 students, and she thinks it's abusive to restrict students from history, classic, Renaissance studies from the opportunity. Even if it would benefit her personally, she thinks it's sad that the competition is being monopolized. In addition, she believes it takes something away from the winning of the scholarship. For she would rather know that she earned the scholarship competing with the very best instead of knowing that she won because other talented students were excluded from the process. Okay, so something like that should be. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to redo your answer, and then we're gonna do it again. Okay, we're gonna do it again. Okay, so I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, please, to redo your answer. Okay, so we're gonna please begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
An institution is offering a scholarship for two students that are only subscribing the Roman language department. On top of that, the students selected must present an essay of an aspect of Italian culture and a plan of reasons for a further research. The idea. Also, there's a student who doesn't advocate with this for the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks it's unfair for its limited options of students that are coursing another course like history, classics, or Renaissance that have talented people and they are now ignored for this reason. It's a monopolized way for giving a scholarship. And I got lost. No.
Okay, don't worry. Okay, we're gonna do it again, okay? I'm gonna give you 1 minute to
Yeah,
rewrite your...
teacher that I don't understand. Like I didn't wrote all the reasons she's giving, so I think I need more information. No.
Okay, we're gonna listen again then. Okay, let's listen again and then we're gonna rewrite, okay? We're gonna listen.
Announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the Buonocore Scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. Like, it's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Is it really such a bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
That doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance Languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna give you again 2 minutes to prepare, and then I'm gonna give you one last chance to answer, okay? Okay, so we're gonna start, please, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
An institution is offering scholarships for students that are only subscribed in the Romance language department. On top of that, students selected will benefit from a tuition fee for 2 semesters. The candidates must present an essay of an aspect of Italian culture and a plan of reasons for a further research. Although there's a student who doesn't advocate this idea for the following reasons. Firstly, she thinks it's unfair for its limited way of giving these scholarships. Due to the fact it will be better if talented students compete for these scholarships. In addition, she believes the language department is small. Fewer students compete. I think I told too rapid, very quick. I
Okay,
say
it was
everything very quick.
okay, no worries. But you're improving. That's something that is good.